We're going to take a look now at using the libxml request Ajax framework. Ajax frameworks like this one allow you to work with Ajax without having to write a lot of code because the code is already written for you. Here is the URL you see up here to pick up the libxml request Ajax framework, and here is the link to pick up the libxml request.js script file. All you've got to do is right-click that link and select Save Target As in order to save that libxml request.js file. Once you've saved it, you can use that file inside an HTML page. We're going to see how that works. This will be our example. What I'm going to do is use libxml request in order to display text. We're going to download XML. The XML we're going to download comes from one of the PHP files we've already seen. This is options1.php. Returns a red, green, and blue text data inside option elements, inside XML option elements like this, as you see. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to display the first option element's text data, which is red. So color 1 is red. So this is, as you see, is using the libxml request Ajax framework in order to interact with XML on our server. So how does this actually work? It's not that difficult. You have to start first by including the libxml request.js file. It's in the same directory as this example HTML file. This is libxml request.html in your download for the course, and this is how you include that libxml request.js, which has all the source code you'll need, all the code you'll need to work with the libxml request Ajax framework. This is how you do it. You say script, type equals text/javascript, source equals libxml request.js. That's the JS file you just downloaded from the libxml request site. This makes available to you all the functions inside libxml request. So how do you actually work with libxml request in order to download data from options1.php? Here's how it works. When the user clicks the button with a caption display message, you are going to use the getXML function in order to download XML data from the server. In particular, download the options1.php, the XML returned from options1.php. Once that's downloaded, you're going to call a function that you name. You can give it any name, of course, but I'm going to call it decode XML, and you pass a 1 as the final parameter to make this an asynchronous download, as it must be for Ajax. So notice that it's not just getXML, it is org.cote.js.xml.getXML. So the getXML function is inside JavaScript package, which means that as the libxml request documentation will tell you, this means that you have to use this entire extended name, qualified name, to work with getXML. So this is how you actually call the getXML function inside the libxml request package framework, and we're going to download XML from this PHP file. The XML is going to be passed to this JavaScript function you create, and the download will proceed in an asynchronous way because we've passed a 1 as the final parameter here. So here's the decode XML function, and this second parameter, the parameter named B, holds the XML data, and in particular you have, as the documentation for libxml request tells you, that parameter has a property named xdom, which is an XML document form, and the DOM stands for document object model, which is standard for XML. We're going to see more about that later in the course. So just as before, just as your own XML experiences has already told you in this course, you have an XML document object. You can get elements by tag name. You can use that method in order to get all the option elements, and you get an array of option elements, and all you've got to do then is look at the first. In order to recover the first color, you get the first options element out of the options array like this, and you say the first child, and that is the text node inside the first option element, and Then you get the data property, and that is the actual text inside the text node inside the first option element. So that's what we want. And that says color 1 is, and as you've already seen, that returns color 1 is red. So that's a handy way of doing things. You didn't actually have to write the Ajax code yourself. All you had to do was know how to call getXML, the getXML function, passing it the URL from which to get the XML. This is a relative URL in this case. Pass it a callback function, and 1 for an asynchronous get, and then just handle the data passed to you, which is going to be in JavaScript XML document form like this, as you've seen already before. That's very handy, and it allows you to avoid having to work with writing the Ajax code yourself, and we're going to take a look at additional Ajax frameworks coming up next.